Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be talking about the path to pro. Now this is just not a Valorant specific video. This will apply to pretty much any esport. It'll also apply to um, finding jobs, IRL improvement stuff, right? Um, Things might not be a one-to-one translation, but a lot of this you can apply to your real life as well. And really all we're trying to do here, just like the last video that I did with the goal sheet, is systematically find a way to set expectations for ourselves so that we can make short-term goals so that we can eventually reach our long-term goals. That's all it is, guys. It's real simple. And so in this video, I have four main things that I want to talk about, and then little subsections that I'll kind of mention as well. But yeah, I find this very important as somebody who's been signed in the tier 1, tier 2 scene before. And I wanted to share these with you because I think these are oftentimes overlooked. Okay? So, number one, I think it's so important to seek help, ask questions in order to define your expectations, right? You need to understand the amount of work that it's going to take for you to get somewhere, okay? You need to know what you need to achieve and what you need to chip away at over time. Becoming a great player is not enough sometimes, right? You need to figure out, you know, what is the most suitable role for me? How am I going to increase my value as a player, right? If you need help in certain aspects, maybe YouTube is not just the best place to find help. Maybe you need to book a consultation with a coach. Maybe a coach will tell you, you don't need to do a VOD review with a coach. A coach could sit down with you, talk about your goals, and come up with a long-term plan that has short-term goals implemented into it to help you get those, to help you reach those long-term goals, right? And I think a lot of people are so focused on getting Radiant to open up doors for them. And while it is important, I'll talk about it a little bit later, it's not the only thing that matters, guys. Okay. So I'm gonna go through these little points here, and I'm just gonna talk about each of them. Finding coaching, again, it's important. I think not that you need a consistent coach all the time, because I think generally, if you're self-taught, self-motivated, you're gonna be able to accomplish a lot. But what a coach will help you do is help you understand how you need to apply yourself to reach your long-term goals. A coach will help you make short-term goals that will help you, achieve your long-term goals. A coach will help you determine which role you should be playing, right, based on your play style, right? Or maybe, help evaluate, what are your weaknesses, and then make goals to kind of supplement that and kind of turn those weaknesses into strengths, right? Another thing that a coach can do, especially a professional one, can tell you how you increase your value as a free agent. Okay. Now, in my opinion, certain roles will always be harder to get signed to, and this will kind of change over time, I imagine. But like everyone and their mom wants to be a duelist main, right? Everybody. If that's the case, naturally you're gonna have way more competition. If IGL is the hardest role, but also kind of the most, you know, glorified role, if you will, wouldn't it make sense to try to become an IGL? You naturally have more value to the team. There's not a ton of them that are doing it well out there. Even if you don't IGL, if you can think like an IGL, you can assist in mid-rounding. You generally have better awareness in game. You're thinking about the game often. You'll be able to understand how to avoid certain plays in certain situations. Your communication will be way better. So naturally, that is one way to increase your value as a free agent. Okay, I think a lot of people are hung up trying to be like this mechanical superstar, Demon One, Aspas, you know what I mean, Durka. But in reality, guys, the value, like, don't get me wrong, those players are valuable, but there's so many people out there that are just as good of aimers as you, that have way more connections than you, that have way more Twitter followers than you. And these are the things that the orgs are looking for. I hate to break it to you. A lot of esports is backwards, okay? And that brings me to my next point, okay? Building your brand. Building your brand in esports is so important, guys, okay? Business decisions are data driven. Okay, these numbers are very important to these orgs. Every org that I've been a part of, They always ask if I'm trialing new players, okay, what is their Twitch? What is their Twitter, right? How many followers do they have? Average viewers. All this stuff is super important for sponsorships. A lot of these esports teams, they need sponsorships to survive, right? And in order to get sponsors, it's all about numbers, right? So it's very important that you build your brand on your progression through the scene. Whether you're tier 3, tier 2, or whatever, you keep improving, right? You keep building up your brand. Start getting on social media. Understand the importance of networking in social media for you guys, right? Make connections in ranked. It's really important to get Radiant, don't get me wrong, but when you get there, the value is obviously being able to play against better players, but it's also meeting better players that have connections. You know, you get some of these guys that are signed tier 1 pros to like one of your tweets here and there. Boom, you're just naturally getting followers. You become more clouded. And when you become more clouded, orgs will be more likely to take a chance on you. And in esports, once you're in, you're kind of in. Like it's weird. Nepotism, right? The idea that like people liking you will get you more opportunities than your commitment or your passion ever will. It's again, I hate to say it, but it is so true, guys. In this esports realm, right? There are so many people out there that are so committed and so passionate and so deserving of opportunities that will never see them because they don't do any of these things here. And this is not this. It's not the sexy stuff. You're not going to be able to post. There's no clip that you're posting to Twitter of a 1v5 ace or anything like that. These are all things that are behind the scenes, but they make you more attractive to orgs. They also make you more attractive to other people that are important to the scene. I know that you guys have seen it before. Somebody follows you with a follower count that's triple their following count, and you think, oh, this guy must be important. I'll follow him back. That's just how the brain works. Numbers drive everything, and it's sad. It's sad because there's so many people out there, people like yourself maybe, that have tons of potential that won't get a chance because these things are overlooked. And that's why I'm making this video. I think it's so, so important. Okay. Next thing, reputation. Okay. How do your peers see you? Do they even see you? Okay. Are you a toxic player in ranked? Do people like you? Are you easy to be around? Do you have solid emotional intelligence? Can you read the room? Can you talk to people respectfully? All of these things are important. You never want to burn a bridge, even in ranked. Okay? Like, you never know who might be the one handing you an opportunity down the line. So it's very important that we act like normal human beings. We do our best every time we're playing to just be normal and have a good time and make sure that, we preserve our reputation as players, okay? Do they even see you? Are you even on Twitter? Do you even have social media? Everything's on Twitter for gaming. You might have a Twitch, and you should be streaming if you can. You should be streaming if you can. You should be posting clips on Twitter if you can. You meet somebody in ranked, you should follow them if you can. Don't be so worried about, having an amazing ratio at first, but you got to put yourself out there. You got to be seen. If you can't be seen, nobody's going to see you. Closed mouth doesn't get fed. It's just the way the world works, guys. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Okay. How will orgs see you? How do you bring value outside of gameplay? This is what I was talking about earlier about building your brand. Orgs will see you. They don't know you as a person. You might get referred by one of their players, right? And that's where the nepotism comes in, and that might get you an opportunity for a trial. But do the orgs really know who you are as a person? If you don't have any content out there, or if you aren't a streamer, or if they don't have access to really understanding you on a deeper level, they just see you as a number now. How many followers does he have? How many or she have? What kind of value can he bring me? Is he or she a Twitch streamer? Right? Are they going to bring me some value in that sense? Can they help with sponsorships? Do they make this organization a more increase our fan base? All of these things are important, guys. And they'll push the needle. Sorry, my dog's here. They'll push the needle between you and somebody that's similar skill level, maybe even a little worse than you, sometimes the org will go with the person that makes more sense as a business decision, right? Or from a business perspective. All right. Next, how will Valorant rank impact the amount of opportunities you get? I also talked about this briefly earlier. Rank is very important, right? You guys need to get Radiant, in my opinion, if you want to go tier 1. It is what it is. Unless you have like a team of 5 players and you guys never play ranked and you're dominating in the tier 2 scene, you win Premier, you go to challengers and you make a name for yourself and you're beating some of these signed teams, there's really no way for you to ever get picked up unless you to a signed team, unless you are in these Radiant lobbies, meeting people and getting opportunities. It's really that simple. But it's not the only thing that matters. You need to play ranked. You need to improve. You need to start, and ideally, if you can figure out ways to scrim against these teams, these tier 1 teams, tier 2 teams, if you can impress them in scrims, you don't really need the rank. But you need to find yourself in the same servers as these guys and girls. You need to get in there. Otherwise, they have no idea who you are. They never will. They're not checking your VLR, right? The only thing that people, teams, and signed teams in NA and EU care about is going to be VCL games and so challengers games and then VCT. It's just how it works. Outside of that, if you're not in their ranked games or you're not scrimming against them, they won't know about you. Doesn't matter if you're a diamond in the rough, a hidden gem. Doesn't matter if you're not spotted, right? Got to make yourself known. And that's one way that you get there is you get in the lobbies with these guys. You start owning them a little bit. They respect you. They remember the name. Trust me, they will remember the name. If you put them down a couple games, they'll remember the name. No questions. 100%. Okay? How to find teams is my last point. All right? I think this might be the most... it's not the most important, but it is extremely important to the success of a team. Okay? I want to talk about what qualities you should be looking for in your teammates, okay? First of all, you want to, no matter what you're doing, this is in-game, this is out-of-game, you want to find yourself and surround yourself with like-minded individuals. If there are discrepancies between you and your teammates and the amount of motivation or dedication that you have, there will naturally, turmoil will start to take over, right? Disagreements will happen. And sorry, my dog's doing something. And the environment will get shook up and it won't be a positive place. I'm telling you, if you can find, and it's hard, it's very hard to do this. If you can find you plus 4 people and a coach that all are super, super driven, you can improve so fast. But I think there are so many teams out there, at the tier 1, even tier 2 level, like tier 2 and even tier 1 level, where the dedication, the motivation, and the level of passion and seriousness isn't the same. It isn't the same. And when you have that, it becomes a problem. Sometimes people need to fail. Like when they're at the top for a while, they need to fail and remember what it's like to fail to really get back into it, right? These teams that are tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams, they have something that a lot of tier 1 teams don't have. And that's the passion, the drive, the hunger to be to get there, to be in the same server as them, right? Now, I'm not saying tier 1 teams are lazy, but there are teams out there that are more passionate and more serious than others. It's just a fact. So, what qualities should you look for in your teammates? Make sure that they are just as dedicated as you. They're putting in as much time. They have the same goals as you, right? And make sure they are good communicators and they are students of the game. That's the most important thing that you look for. The other thing that's really important is how much do they cope. If they cope themselves, if they cope their way out of all their mistakes, they're not going to be able to be coached. They're not going to be able to improve. So how much they cope and how coachable they are is also something that's very important. Even if you don't have a coach, being coachable is like, your peers giving you advice. How well do you retain what they say and kind of like improve over time, right? Are you able to take constructive criticism, right? Some people are, some people aren't. And that's very important. Okay, I want to say don't be afraid, and then the next thing, don't be afraid to build your own roster. Make sure you're selective with who you want to work with. These two kind of go hand in hand. Don't worry so much about having a coach. Like I think finding a coach up here, I said find a coach, find coaching. This is more so you can identify your short-term goals as an individual, so that you can fast track your improvement and make sure you're doing it self-sufficiently. Okay, learn how to improve on your own. If you can't afford coaching, consistent coaching long term, book a session, book one session. I urge you guys, it's eye-opening. You'll be able to learn a lot. You'll be able to ask the coach how to learn on your own, right? And this is something that I offered to you guys too. If you want to book a consultation with me, definitely hit me up. I'm more than happy to kind of help you guys just have an hour conversation where you ask me any questions and we can talk about short-term goals and what your long-term goals are, and kind of game plan things for you. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is the importance of setting expectations and defining team culture as soon as possible. This is something that is super important when it comes to improving as a team. And I kind of brought it up here, define expectations. Setting some expectations here as well. People need to know what they are getting themselves into. They need to know how much work it's going to take. You guys need to have conversations about what the teams at the top, right? The teams that are operating in the scene that you want to get to. How much work are they putting in? Talk about what their practice structure looks like. Talk about how much VOD review they're doing. Talk about their individual routines. How much ranked are they playing? Right? A lot of this you can kind of go out and find out. Like you can see how much ranked they're playing. You can see how much they're streaming. You can go check their tracker. You can see how many DMs they're playing, right? Scrims, I mean, generally, I think you should assume that they're playing 4 a day. 3 to 4 a day, at least, with some VOD review, okay? That information is hard to find. But the other stuff, you can go take a look. And what you need to do then is you need to set expectations for yourself and your team. Okay, all of us need to be doing X, Y, and Z. We need to be playing this amount of scrims. And then, to be honest, you kind of need to exceed what they're doing. Now, with this comes the risk of burnout. So you need to be careful with that. You don't want to burn out. You want to make sure you're doing things sustainably. Sometimes less is actually more, but only if you do it the right way and you do it efficiently, okay? So that means you need to be getting value out of all of the scrims that you play. There's no messing around. You need to be really good with your pre-round communication. You need to have goals, scrim to scrim. What are we working on? What's our focal point this scrim, right? Did we play, let's say we played retake 8 out of 12 rounds on Ascent B site last round. Okay, guess what? Today we're gonna play on B site. We're gonna play more to flood. Okay, these are the things that you need to be doing. You need to create a competitive advantage for yourself by being more efficient than the other teams, and that's what all this is all about. This right here, defining expectations for yourself to get onto the path to pro, understanding all of these things and implementing them into your process is what is really going to take you to the next level and get you a competitive advantage over people that are trying to do the same thing as you. Okay? Anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I don't know if you guys like this type of content. It seems like the video I did yesterday is doing pretty well. I think these things are very important and will kind of help you answer questions that you might have. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below. Maybe I can make some content about that. Make some content about that in the next coming days. Okay? Best of luck, everybody. I'm praying for you guys. Take a look at this. Start asking some questions. And start making a change. Time is now. It's now or never, baby. Let's get after it.